Hey everybody, Jeff Reber over at Heavener Realty here with Danny Sands that owns Brightway Insurance Sands Agency. Is that the technical name, Danny? What's our technical
Yep,
Brightway Sands name?
that's
That's
it.
it? Okay, good.
Correct.
Anyways, Danny and I were having a conversation not that long ago, maybe a month ago, and he was telling me that homeowners insurance rates were going to go up, which nobody likes to hear. I didn't want to hear it. Then all of a sudden, in all of my real estate trade publications and some other random sources, I started seeing articles about this. And so I thought it would be good to have a conversation with Danny publicly to A, kind of detail out what the problem is, and then B, talk about a solution for you, the homeowner who's paying insurance or maybe even rental property insurance. So Sands, give us a little bit of background on the issue first.
Yeah, so it's actually not one issue, it's multiple issues
Okay.
that have hit the homeowners market in Florida at the same time.
Mhm.
Number one, it's reinsurance cost. So
Now,
you may
what
have
is
heard,
reinsurance? Explain that.
yeah, so reinsurance is where homeowners insurance companies buy insurance to cover catastrophic events,
Okay.
the same way that you purchase insurance to cover your risk with your home. So they have deductibles for reinsurance, and the reinsurers are on the hook for everything after that deductible is met when the insurance company pays it.
Okay.
So multiple catastrophic events in the last few years have caused reinsurers to pay billions of dollars out of pocket,
Hmm.
which in turn has been a pass-through cost to the homeowners insurance carriers, and
Right.
then they pass it through to the consumer. So that's number one issue. Number two is we're having all types of legal issues in the state of Florida.
Exclusive to
Attorneys.
the state of Florida, or is this something happening in multiple states around the country and we just happen to be one of them? What's that look like?
Um, Florida is the only state in the country that allows multipliers for attorney fees. So
What's that mean?
basically, what happens is an attorney may take a case for a customer who has a roof claim.
Okay.
Insurance companies denied it for some reason.
Hmm.
The attorney takes it over, and they have billable hours for the amount of time they put into trying to get the claim paid for the policyholder.
Okay.
Well, when they do that, the state of Florida allows a multiplier, so they can actually multiply their attorney fee. So you may have a $15,000 roof that turns into a $150,000 claim by the time the attorney multiplier fee is
Makes
added.
sense.
So
Didn't know that.
those are
Interesting.
killing insurance companies as well. And insurance companies are telling us that legislation needs to pass to be able to stop that, because ultimately it's the homeowner that's going to pay for it in the long run.
Well, and where on one hand I can see that it makes sense if I, the homeowner, have a legitimate claim and have, neither the time nor understanding to fight against the big insurance company. I need some legal help. But on the other hand, I see the issue where if we're paying 10x the cost of something that nobody was anticipating we pay for an insurable event, that's a problem too. So, all right, that's number two. What's the other issue?
Yeah, and then the other issue is roof claims in Florida. A
Mhm.
lot of people are having roofs replaced that may not necessarily be a covered claim, but insurance companies are having to make business decisions on whether or not to pay for a $15,000 roof, or fight it in court and pay all the legal fees, or
Yeah.
pay contractors double what they should typically charge. Another big issue there is the assignment of benefits
Hmm.
that contractors are allowed to use in Florida. Buyer beware, basically, on the homeowner side. If you have a
Hmm.
contractor that tries to get you to sign a form assigning all of your claim benefits to them,
Hmm.
the roof may cost 10 or 15 grand, but they're going to charge the insurance company sometimes double that or triple that. Then the insurance company, if they pay it, ends up paying two to three times the market value, which again is driving up their loss ratios, which eventually is going to hit the consumer's pocket for
Yeah.
homeowners insurance.
You can only lose money for so long as a company
Yep.
before something has to happen. Yeah. No bueno. So all of that said, I get it. costs are going up, and this is all just kind of hitting at the same time. It's 2020. What the heck?
That's right.
One more thing.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. One more thing to worry about. So if I'm a savvy homeowner and I'm trying to save a buck, I'm also trying to keep my coverage decent. How do we navigate these waters from an insurance perspective?
Yeah, so number one, you really need to rely on your agent there because the market is continuously changing.
Okay.
In a hard market like this, the underwriting guidelines change daily, weekly, monthly. We get emails every day, companies changing their guidelines for roof requirements, water heaters, plumbing, AC, the age of the home that they'll actually insure. A lot of companies have stopped insuring in 2020, or they only do 10 years or newer on homes. So, but when you're navigating those waters, you really need to rely on the agent, number one. Number two, a roof is a huge deal and water heaters are huge deals. So just from an eligibility perspective, stay up to date on those. Number three, replacement cost estimates are skyrocketing, and the replacement cost is what determines how much the dwelling needs to be insured for.
Mm-hmm.
Construction costs, just like the real estate market, have gone up drastically this year.
Yep.
So do a review with your agent. And if you don't have one, I'd be happy to do one with you. But you need to review the dwelling coverage. Sometimes you can be way overinsured. And then also, there's a lot of parts within a policy that you can change to help decrease and offset some of that premium increase, whether it's deductibles or coverages or endorsements that we can go through.
Now, this is off script a little bit, but Citizens, the state-run or state-held insurance company, years back came into play when we had some issues to start to write policies where private companies were kind of backing away because they were losing money. Is that an option now? Why or why not? What does that look like?
Yeah, so Citizens is the company of last resort. That it was created by the state of Florida for risks that other carriers don't want to insure.
Mm-hmm.
They are an option, but they're very difficult to deal with. They don't want the business. Basically,
I wish you
what it
could have a
comes down
company
to.
where you get so much business, you don't even want the business. Like, nah,
Yeah.
we don't want policies. We're an
But-
insurance company that doesn't want to write them.
Exactly. They still do have underwriting requirements, though. You know, a
Sure.
roof has to have at least 3 years of life expectancy. You know, they have plumbing, AC, water heater guidelines as well, electrical.
And I would
guidelines.
assume that Citizens is probably not the cheapest of the bunch whenever you shop comparable rates for a particular property. Is that accurate?
Interestingly enough, the pendulum has kind of swung on that because
Okay.
Citizens is capped out on how much they can increase over the next 3 or 5 years.
Gotcha.
Whereas these other companies, it's not abnormal to see 50 to 100% rate increases in 1 year. So they're getting approval by the state of Florida, which is justifying their need for the increase because it has to be approved by the Office of Insurance Regulation. So some of these companies are taking 50 to 100% increases where Citizens is capped at like 10% a year.
Gotcha.
So it's starting to make their premium more competitive, but overall the coverage package is not as good as you can get in the private market.
Got it. Well, this is good stuff. Right before Thanksgiving, let's be happy that we can at least have insurance. I hope everybody does have a happy Thanksgiving this week. But any parting thoughts before we close out here?
Parting thoughts, just a outlook on next year from what we're hearing from a lot of the carriers. It's going to get a little worse before it gets better.
Okay.
But I think what you're eventually going to see is some legislation needs to pass in the state to change some of the laws. Hopefully we go a year without major storms hitting the state and companies can increase their or get their losses back and increase profit margins next year. But it's going to take a year or two to weather the storm and get back to normal rates. And I think you'll see the market shift after that, and companies will start to open up and want more exposure in the state.
Gotcha. Well, all good stuff. Call your local Brightway agent, Danny Sands. Danny, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, how would they do so?
Yeah, they can reach us at 904-999-3250, or my email is danny.sands, SANDS, @brightway.com, and we'd be happy to do a review for them.
Good stuff. And if you have real estate questions, not insurance questions, feel free to give me a shout. 904-405-1995. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will catch up soon. Take care.
Thanks, Jeff.